Hello, my friends. How are you? Good morning from the East Coast of the United States as we continue our explorations into the nature of fundamental reality. And I am always grateful to you for joining me in this cyberspace, our shared awareness here as we explore the nature of existence, fundamental reality, and life. So today I want to talk about the brain and what the brain is and how the brain can be used to explore higher consciousness. And the fact that the brain does not experience anything, which seems like a contradiction. If the brain does not experience anything, then how can we use the brain to experience higher consciousness? Once again, if the brain does not experience anything, then how can we use the brain for higher consciousness? The brain does not experience anything, but we can use it, rewire it for higher consciousness. What the heck does that mean? Okay, so first of all, we should address the very fact that the brain does not experience anything. Does the brain experience, for example, the sound that you're hearing right now? Okay, there's no sound in the brain. So right now, as you're hearing me, there's silent electrochemical activity in your brain. So the brain is not experiencing sound. Is the brain experiencing shape, form, color? Is the brain, your brain right now, experiencing me? And the fact is that your brain is not having the experience of seeing me. Okay, there's no color in the brain, there's no shape, there's no form. So the brain is not hearing me right now, the brain is not seeing me. All the brain is doing is recording electrochemical activity which correlates to the experience that you're having of seeing and hearing. But where is the seeing and hearing happening? It's certainly not happening in the brain. So where is the experience of sensation happening? Again, if you look at the brain, there is no experience of sensation or fragrance or color or shape or form or texture or scent happening in the brain. Only electrochemical activity. So where is this experience happening? And the answer is it's happening in our awareness. So what the heck is the brain doing while the experience is happening in awareness? Well, the brain itself is an experience in awareness. It's the experience of visually of color, shape, form, texture. It has the texture of jello. Usually on a dissection table, it has the smell of antiseptic and all of that. But there's no experience in the brain, no color, no form, no texture, no fragrance, no scent, only neural correlates, which are also an experience. The brain is also an experience in consciousness, in awareness. So, now, what is the most intense experience anybody can have? The most intense experience anyone can have is severe pain. The most excruciating experience that anyone can have is severe pain. So if you take a knife and put it across the skin into an organ, it hurts. But if you put a knife across the brain, it doesn't hurt. You can put a knife right through the brain, it won't hurt. So the brain can't even experience pain. The most intense experience we have, pain, the brain can't experience it. If you can't experience pain, then you can't experience pleasure, and you can't experience anything in between. So now that we've established that the brain is not having any experience, then what the heck is it doing? Well, I just mentioned, it's recording the neural correlates of experience. And actually, if you tickle the neural correlates, you can reproduce the experience, because the neural correlates are symbolic representations of the experience. Just like when you read a book, and I'm reading this wonderful book, The Secret Language of the Mind, where in fact it says very clearly that the brain doesn't experience itself or experience anything, it only records experiences. So when I read the book, that also is a symbolic representation of experience, and reading the book then creates an experience. When you look at me right now on your screen, creates an experience, even though what you're looking at are pixels. And even though pixels are an experience, but they translate into this experience and sound and everything else. So, in fact, every experience is rewiring the brain. So every experience is rewiring the brain, and the brain in turn is an instrument for experience. It's not where the experience happens, it's the instrument through which the experience happens. Okay? Through which. And furthermore, it's an experience by itself as well. It's a modified perception. So you are actually, in a deep level, creating the wiring of the brain that reinforces the experiences that you identify with. Every experience you identify with rewires the brain, whether that's a perceptual experience or a mental experience, emotional experience, etc. Patricia keeps asking, awareness of sadness. Yes, awareness of sadness is not sadness, right? It's the awareness of sadness is not sadness. Sadness is an experience that, in fact, even if you try to hold on to it, you won't be able to. Try that, actually. Try holding on to sadness, and you see you can't hold on to it. Something else will occur, some other thought, some other experience. So the awareness of the experience is not the experience, and yet by choosing the experience you want, you can rewire the brain. That's called neuroplasticity, and actually to rewire the brain, you have to activate certain genes, and that's called epigenetics. So in fact, you, by consciously choosing experiences, can actually activate the genes that are needed for those experiences, and also activate the neural networks that actually download those experiences. Okay, so think of your brain as maybe, just thinking, what's the best analogy? A light bulb, and consciousness or awareness as the electricity. Okay, and then pure consciousness or witnessing awareness, where you can go back through transcendence or even quietening the mind or internal dialogue, and like a dimmer, you can change the intensity of experience, decrease the experience, or take away your attention from an experience, totally shut it off in transcendence, in meditation, and in vipassana, and in dreams, and in sleep. And by learning to be conscious of these states of awareness, you can actually activate genes and neural networks, so you can tap into higher consciousness. Higher consciousness means being aware of the self in every experience, self-awareness in every experience, metacognition, the ability to observe an experience in the present moment without necessarily conceptualizing it, and the ability to choose an experience, pay attention to this sound or that color or that emotion or that thought or that feeling or that sensation or that image as we choose consciously our experiences. Metacognition, the ability to observe experience in the present moment without conceptualizing it, and then the ability to observe choices in the present moment at a very subtle level, and then the ability to be aware of the awareness in which it is happening. We start to rewire the brain. Asking questions leads to intuition. Asking questions, going into stillness, leads to intuition. Having a vision, gathering information, analyzing information, incubating in stillness leads to creativity. So creativity is a result of intended outcome, information gathering, information analysis, incubation, insight, inspiration, integration, incarnation. And then beyond creativity is the archetypal vision of infinite being expressing itself symbolically as the gods, goddesses, archetypes, angels, divine beings that symbolically represent infinite possibilities. So as we selectively pay attention and know the intention we have for transformation, then automatically choiceless awareness unfolds with subtle intention into soul consciousness, cosmic consciousness, divine consciousness, unity consciousness. A different instrument evolves that we call the brain, and actually even the body, because body and brain are modified forms of consciousness, and then we rewire the brain for the actualization of the dream. The dream becomes the actuality only when you wake up to that which is dreaming. So that's how we rewire the brain for higher consciousness. Remember, the brain is an instrument. You are the user of the instrument. So is the body an instrument. So is the mind an instrument. So is every perception an instrument, and the collection, the conglomeration of these perceptual activities and their interpretation is what we call mind, body, and world. And we can consciously choose the body, the mind, and the world that we want to experience, and create the brain that we want, knowing that the brain is not the source of experience, but the instrument that we use to have experience. The brain is made out of consciousness, so is the mind, and so is perceptual activity. You and the universe are consciousness. Just knowing this, we can begin our journey to rewiring the brain for higher consciousness.